Hey, Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So before we start, just a few quick disclaimers. Firstly, you want to understand that I am using Vedic sidereal astrology. So if you're coming from Western tropical astrology, this may not resonate for you. So make sure that you have the correct information. It's also important to understand that aspects and conjunctions to Saturn can also make a difference in your chart. So you want to see, are there any planets with Saturn or influencing Saturn in the chart? It's also important to understand the house placement of Saturn. And I have done a whole series on Saturn through the 12 houses. So if you've not seen that yet, make sure to check that out. I will leave a link for that above and down below in the description. The houses that Saturn has rulership over will also make an impact in your chart. So Saturn will influence those houses. So it's very important to see where is Capricorn and where is Aquarius in your chart. Another important concept to understand is activation of Saturn. So there are special moments in our lives when Saturn becomes more active in the chart. And the most important one is during a Saturn Dasha period. So if you have not seen my video on the Saturn Mahadasha Bhuktis, I will leave a link for that above and down below in the description. It's also important to understand transits. So when planets are transiting over your natal Saturn, that will also have an impact in your chart as well. Another concept is sati sati. So when transiting Saturn is 12th, 1st, or 2nd from your natal moon, Saturn will also impact you during this time. Along with this, Saturn will mature at certain phases of our lives as well. So Saturn always returns back every 29 years to the position where it was when you were born. And in particular, the first Saturn return is very important for your karmic lessons and maturity. So at this time, Saturn will bring back a lot of the karmic lessons where you will begin to understand where the work needs to take place in your life. At the age of 36 is when Saturn reaches its full maturity. So from 35 up into your 40s and 50s is really where Saturn starts to loosen up some of its karmic grip. And so, in particular, during this time is when you will understand how to navigate some of these karmic situations much better. So, this is really where the maturity, where the discipline, where the hard work comes in with Saturn. It's also important to understand some additional karmas that may have tagged along with your natal Saturn as well. And this won't necessarily affect the results of Saturn in Aquarius if you have it retrograde in your chart. This actually can be promising if Saturn is retrograde. But a Saturn retrograde is definitely going to indicate some karmic attachments that are there with Saturn. And this can show up in the form of other people paying off karmas to you or you paying off karmas through your actions. A combust Saturn can also show that some of the qualities of Saturn will be diminished in the chart. In particular, this will show up in those areas where Capricorn and Aquarius are. So some of the significators of those houses will have some difficulties in expressing those results. Another concept to understand is Charakaraka, and this is coming from Jaimini astrology. So in the regular Parashara astrology, we have the signification of what Saturn means in our lives. But in Jaimini, Saturn can also represent something else. If it is your Atmakaraka, if it is your Amachakaraka, etc. So you want to see what is that Karaka in your chart. What else does Saturn represent for you? Another concept to understand is Papkartari Yoga. So this is when a planet is hemmed between malefics. So if Saturn is hemmed between two other malefics in the chart, it may also show some difficulties in expressing the results of Saturn in your life as well. Another concept to understand are the aspects of Saturn. So Saturn will always aspect third from its position, and this tends to be the most challenging aspect of Saturn. This shows where a lot of the obstacles, delays, frustrations can be in our lives, and this is where a lot of effort needs to be applied with this third aspect. Each planet in the chart will always give a seventh aspect where it reflects its qualities onto the opposite house. And the 10th aspect is the final aspect of Saturn, which shows where the real karmas of Saturn plays out in our lives. This is where we really need to take action in our lives. This is where we show those qualities of Saturn most clearly. It's also important to understand where is Saturn positioned from its original home. And in particular, you always want to look at where is it from Aquarius, which for those of you who are watching this video on Saturn and Aquarius, it is in its own position, which is why this is going to be a very promising placement, which we will talk about in a few moments here. It's also important to understand how to interpret this. So, many of you are familiar with where Saturn is in your natal chart, in that D1 Rashi chart, but also you can see where is Saturn placed from your moon's position. And most importantly, you want to see where is Saturn positioned in the D9 Navamsa and in the D60 Shasti Amsa chart. So, in particular, in the D9, that will show how the results of those karmas will mature in your life. So, for example, if you have a weak position of Saturn in the natal chart, but then it is stronger in the D9 Navamsa, then it will definitely show that Saturn will improve with time. The D60 will always have the final say, though, in terms of how Saturn will function for you in your chart. It may also interest you to see where Saturn is placed in the D10 Dasamsha chart as well, because the D10 really relates to our career life, to our public image, to the actions that we perform within society. And Saturn is all about service, it's all about hard work. So, this is definitely going to indicate the D10 chart as well. Let's talk about a few remedial measures that are related to Saturn also. So, Saturn is definitely going to reward you when you are of service to other people, when you help those in need. In particular, Saturn represents the underprivileged, the sick, the elderly. So, when you are going out of your way to really help people, to try to help those in need, this is definitely going to help you in your life as well. Another remedy of Saturn is to always remain humble and ethical in your actions, because Saturn is the natural enemy of the sun. It is all about putting down the ego. Another great remedy of Saturn is to make some kind of sacrifice in your life, meaning to fast or to take a break from something that you enjoy in life. Another great remedy of Saturn is to make sure that your bathroom is cleaned, because Saturn also has rulership over the bathroom as well. And the final remedy that I will give, that is a very simple one that can help, is to feed crows, because Saturn is associated with cemeteries and crows also. So let's talk about Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. Very powerful position of Saturn, because this is the office sign of Saturn where it feels most comfortable. So this is going to give excellent results in your life. Firstly, we have to understand, what does Saturn represent, and then what does the sign of Aquarius represent? So, Saturn is all about discipline, hard work, persistence. Saturn shows our organizational skills, our ability to create structure, to really work hard towards our goals in life. Saturn demands a great deal of patience and persistence in life to really put forth our efforts and to strive towards success. Saturn also is about social justice, wants to make a difference in the world, wants to help those in need, to create a sense of balance. Saturn is also related to fear, anxiety, obstacles, restrictions. In particular, this is most true when we are younger, when we are still developing those Saturn karmas in our lives. Saturn at an older age also can indicate our spiritual journey as well, giving us the discipline to really dive into spirituality. So, Aquarius is the sign of social networking. It is all about larger groups, larger organizations, communities. It is about really trying to make a difference in the world, trying to help those in need. Aquarius is a very scientific sign as well, and can be related to trying to make a difference in the world through the means of science and technology. Aquarius is all about seeing the world from a third view perspective, seeing people as a whole, seeing the collective, and really wanting to help, wanting to create a sense of fairness and justice is very strong in Aquarius. Aquarius can also have an interest in politics, so even trying to make a difference through the means of politics as well. Aquarius is also a very intuitive sign that sometimes can give us an interest towards spirituality. In particular, Aquarius can show a journey of making mistakes or obtaining everything in life and then wanting to strive towards spirituality later on. Aquarius is also a very eccentric sign. It is very creative, very ingenious. It is ahead of its time, all about the trends and patterns of society, seeing where things are going in the world and being able to do something unique and different. So, what happens then when Saturn comes into the sign of Aquarius? Well, this is going to be an excellent position, just like Saturn in Capricorn, in terms of material success. This can make you very skilled with finances with this position. This could get you into banking. This can get you into financial advising with this placement. Mostly, though, Saturn in Aquarius is going to make you want to be involved with larger groups, with society, with trying to make a change, trying to help those in need. This can make you skilled at organizing large social gatherings and events. Saturn in Aquarius is going to make you want to create a revolution to really inspire change and movement within society. This could also get you into a scientific career, a political career. Again, anything where you can create this change, where you can make a difference, where you can bring people together on this large collective scale. Definitely, Saturn and Aquarius can make you a workaholic as well. And sometimes this can take you away from your family and home life, which could create some obstacles for you. But this really gets you focused on wanting to help people, wanting to make a difference. So your focus is out onto the world. It is onto society at large. It is onto these large communities and movements in the world. And so this is where a lot of your focus goes into career, mainly with this position. At the same time, though, Saturn and Aquarius can give you strong family roots. It can make your family someone who is very supportive of you, especially early on in life, because naturally Taurus is fourth from Aquarius in the chart. Definitely, Saturn and Aquarius can make you very popular. It can get you well known in life because of your good deeds, because of your desire to want to serve and make a difference. Saturn and Aquarius can also make you think well ahead of your time, coming up with all sorts of innovative ideas and solutions, again, to try to create this change, to try to serve humanity with this placement. So let's talk about the different nakshatras then that Saturn will come into in the sign of Aquarius. Starting off with dhanishta. So we talked a little bit about dhanishta in the previous video of Saturn in Capricorn, where this nakshatra began in Capricorn, but then extends into the sign of Aquarius. And Saturn and dhanishta can give great success, great material success in the world. This definitely can make you well known with this position. And this can show wanting to do something that is involved with music also, helping people in terms of doing something related to music or selling musical products. It could also get you into all sorts of areas of technology, of dealing with engineering with this placement sometimes as well. These are all Martian professions that are seen with this Saturn in Dhanishta. So let's talk about Saturn in shatabhishak, which is falling in the middle part of Aquarius here. Shatabhishak is represented by 100 stars or 100 healers. So definitely it shows areas of healing and medicine very strongly. Shatabhishak also can show things related to aerospace, to technology, through traveling through the air with this position. And it is a very eccentric position as well. It can get you into all sorts of occult and mystical subjects with this placement. Shatabhishak is definitely about social justice as well. So definitely when Saturn comes into this nakshatra, it gives you a huge desire to want to help people, to want to make a difference within society. Sometimes this could get you a part of all sorts of political movements and organizations that are about making a change. But this is definitely a research oriented nakshatra as well, which could get you into the science fields. It can get you into astrology on the mystical side of things, into all sorts of occult and mystical subjects can be seen. This can also make you a great healer. It can get you into all sorts of professions of medicine, even in terms of helping people in service in the field of law can be seen with shatabhishak also. One thing that this can also do, though, is it can create a boundary around you in the sense that it can make you a bit introverted with this placement, where you don't really like to let that many people into your circle. So let's talk about Saturn and Purva Bhadrapada. And we'll talk a little bit more about this on the Pisces side because this does extend into the first 3 degrees, 20 minutes of Pisces. But mainly it falls here in the sign of Aquarius. Purva Bhadrapada is about our spiritual awakening. It is the first of the blessed footsteps. So it is taking us towards something auspicious. Definitely, it is a nakshatra that shows blessings, that shows wealth, abundance with this placement. This also is a very philosophical position as well. It can get you interested in knowledge and learning, and especially it can get you into mystical and spiritual studies as well. This definitely is a position of huge knowledge and wisdom that is seen through Purva Bhadrapada. So, with this placement, this definitely is going to make you want to make a difference in life, to want to help people, to really create a sense of change in the world. And again, this can show this through research. It can show it through professions where you are trying to create political change in the world as well. This could also take you towards spirituality, but mainly in the sign of Aquarius, it is going to be about helping people, about making a difference with the knowledge that you have. Sometimes this could also be a bold position of Saturn as well, where again, it makes you want to fight for what is right, to stand up for what is right. You can have very strong principles when you have Saturn in Purva Bhadrapada. So I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this, make sure to leave a like. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video.